Hello everyone! Welcome back! Video 1 of my first draft went over really well with my friends. So, I'm going to do a second draft video, and hopefully we get as good as we got in the first one. This video, sponsored by Ace, Blackberry Cider, as well as Samsung. You see, making YouTube videos is easy when you're sponsored by multi-million-dollar corporations. Let's jump in. Alright, ooh, really like seeing Hot Barrel Revolver there. In a Gunslinger deck, that card just wins games. Really sad to see it paired with Whirling Duo and Oni Cave Diver, though. Those are two other cards you really like to see in red and or Gunslinger decks, which usually end up being some kind of red. Whirling Duo especially would have been my next pick, but Oni Cave Diver, don't underestimate that card. 2 mana 2/2, so just a bear in the worst case. But you can also play it and just scout, which is really nice. The +2 attack while you have a relic very rarely is relevant, but a 2 mana 2/2 ultimate pay 2 to scout is a fine card. But Hot Barrel Revolver, honestly one of my favorite card arts. That gun is wicked. But 5 mana, give a creature +3/+3, and it deals 3 damage to a random enemy. Now that can go face, but if you play it on a Gunslinger, you choose the enemy instead. Fantastic card. Other cards to consider in this pack, Baying Sarasaur and Backpacker's Machete, but it is not close. We're going to go with that Hot Barrel Revolver. Ooh, pick 2 Rooftop Vigilante is an excellent card in draft. 3 mana 2/3 Flying Warcry, so it hits the evasion. A 3 mana 2/3 Flying by itself would be pretty nice. Your units wielding weapons are deadly, very rarely relevant, but sometimes. It's a Gunslinger as well, and a Valkyrie for the double tribal synergy. And then the Warcry, also really nice, especially on a creature with evasion. Caleb's Intervention is okay. Flashy Duelist is good in the Gunslingers. Ironclad Oath is fine. But nothing here compares to the Rooftop Vigilante, so that's definitely the pick here. It's just unfortunate that it doesn't really fit in the deck with the Hot Barrel Revolver, since it's a black-green card, and Hot Barrel Revolver is a double red. But we're taking it. Alright, so in this pack, I see Backpacker's Machete, which is a great card. 3 mana, give a creature +2/+2, and then Scout. Scouting is not as good as drawing a card. I'd say it's probably half as good as drawing a card, maybe 25% as good as drawing a card. But it's still nice, just to make sure that your next draw is going to be okay. Unpredictable Outlaw is a bear, 2 mana 2/2. And then the effect actually is relevant in some situations. I've had it just win me the game before. We've got a nice premium Granite Waystone here, but not going to pick it this early in the draft. Iceberg Warchief is good in Yetis and bad in most everything else. The spells deal +2 damage, very rarely relevant in draft. At least in this draft format, you don't see a lot of removal spells. The Jotun Punter is very good in the Yeti decks, but at this point, I think it's good to stay in one of these cards here, especially since we don't really have any other good black-green picks here to match with the Rooftop Vigilante. Headsman's Axe is not a card that I have had a lot of really good results with. I'm going to take the early Unpredictable Outlaw, maybe to get some more Gunslinger synergy. Alright, so I like Silverwing Smith a lot. I like Tandem Watchwing a lot, and I like the First Shot Rioter a lot. Unpredictable Outlaw and Bangalore. This is a really good pack for us. So we really need to decide here whether or not we're going to be going this red route, or we want to start dipping into the green for the Valkyries. And it's a difficult decision, because really we have to decide, do we value the Rooftop Vigilante or the Hot Barrel Revolver more? And let me tell you, I am torn on this. Between the Tandem Watchwing, specifically the Tandem Watchwing, and the First Shot Rioter. And I think the safe pick is Tandem Watchwing for the evasion. And I think I can't give First Shot Rioter an excuse to pick it over the evasion of the Tandem Watchwing. So we're going to go Tandem Watchwing here. And we are rewarded with another Tandem Watchwing, a Copper Hall Marshal, a First Shot Rider. These are crazy. These are crazy picks. You're usually not this spoiled for choice here. And I think because we went last pick Tandem Watchwing, it would be correct to go another white or another green card here, or this black Unseen Agent, but you can't really do too bad with too many synergy tribal cards, so I think we're just going to take another Tandem Watchwing for another 3-mana flying evading card. Alright, this is more like what we should be used to. We have a Tumble Bang here, which is good, but the double red really wants you to be in a red color to be playing that. We don't have any dinosaurs for the Dinoc. I think we'll take the Tumble Bang for now because it fits with the other 2 red cards we have, just in case we're not playing these 3 cards. Affliction is a nice pickup. You can also consider Trusty Revolver. I don't like Barkeep's Friend very much. I think it's a very underwhelming card. Town Watchman, another card that is okay in some slower matchups, but it's not a card that you want to pick this early when you could just take a removal card instead, like Affliction. Affliction's good at getting rid of. I think the number 1 target I hit with Affliction is Unseen Agent. Trusty Revolver is a fine card, but this early in the draft, those usually go late. Usually one of the first cards you cut from your deck. So we're going to take the Affliction here. Alright, we have 3 Valkyries, so the Ironclad Oath is actually going to gain us some armor, probably, which is not particularly important. Really, you play it for the 4-mana instant, give one of your units +4/+4. Sparkcatcher is another consideration, if we really want to pop into that red again. Crownwatch Legionnaire is a card I really like. I have had that card just kind of swing games really hard, especially if you pick up cards like Humble Instructor, which a lot of people don't value very highly, so sometimes it's really easy to pick those up. But I think here, we'll pick up a nice combat trick with the Ironclad Oath. Now, the Emerald Spear, I think, is terrible. But there's not much else here. I think a 7-mana 4/3 relic weapon is bad. Really bad. I mean, I don't like Improvised Rebeler, and it's a 7-mana 5/5 relic weapon. I just think it's way too slow, way too... doesn't have too big enough impact. And then sometimes it plays a 2/2. I mean, what? That makes it a 6/4. I wouldn't play a 7-mana 6/4 relic weapon in draft. I don't play 7-mana 5/5 that summons 2 1/1s always, so why am I playing a 7-mana 4/3 that summons a 2/2 sometimes? But none of these other cards are very good at all, so I think we take it just to kind of signal to the person next to us that green isn't open. And we're just going to slot it in the sideboard there. Oh, sad to see that Heroic Bravo here. I really would not fault anyone for having picked up those red cards. And then this would make a really good Gunslinger deck, I think. So we're going to take it, just in case we find ourselves eventually in red Gunslingers. It's a possibility. We want more black-green cards, for sure. I think they're stronger. But our red cards are fine. I just hope we don't end up in a situation where we don't have enough playables in black-green. We don't have enough playables in red to make a good Gunslinger deck. That would really be the nightmare here. But we'll take this Final Shot Rider. I always typically take playables over the Waystones. The Waystones I'm happy to take, but I'll take a playable over them. 4-mana 2/4, sometimes it has Deadly. A 4-mana 2/4 by itself is fine, especially since it has the Gunslinger tag, so it has some synergy there. And then every now and then it gets Deadly, which is nice. So, fine card to take. And a last pick into the Furnace, which tells me the person next to us has red wide open. So, could be seeing a change. I hope we don't, but we could be. Mating Call does not fire off in draft very well at all, but look at that beautiful card art, and that dinosaur there is just completely unimpressed. Fire Main Cub is fine. 1 mana, deal 1 damage to another enemy unit, and you get a 1/1. It's a thing. There's also a 3 mana 4/1. Unimpressive. There's a Cabal Slasher. There's an Umbran Thirster, which sometimes has flying. And it's important to note that the +1 attack is permanent and it stacks. So every time you gain life, she gets +1 attack. Which is not, it doesn't happen too often in draft, but I have seen it happen. I've seen people go crazy with that card before. I'll take the Umbran Thirster here. I think the best card in that pack was Sand Viper, but I don't see us being in white whatsoever. In this pack, the best card I think is that Xenon Initiation, but again, we're not in white. Purify if we want to hop into that red-white. Clan Hero if we want to be red-blue. Talon of Nostrix is a fine early drop. It usually kills their 1-drop and their 2-drop. Roosting Owl, I've had some really good results with. And I think I'm going to take the Talon of Nostrix here because removal's a bit harder to do in green. And we need the early game a little bit because Into the Furnace and Unpredictable Outlaw are not 2-drops we're going to be playing, more than likely. We may be in red-green, splash black. Possibly. Or maybe red-black, splash green. We'll see. 4 mana 3/3. At the end of your turn, strangers get +1 attack. It does buff itself. So at the end of your turn, it gets +1 attack permanently. Every turn. Minotaur Lighthoof is a great card that sometimes just wins you the game. 4 mana 4/4, give a unit unblockable. I like seeing that Argenport banner. That would make it easier to play our 3 colors. So here I think the pick is between Minotaur Lighthoof and Argenport banner. I don't think we can pass up a playable this early. I think if we were later in the draft, I'd really take that. I'd slam pick that banner. But I think we want to take as many playables as possible, just in case we wind up in. I've wound up in draft situations before where I don't have enough playables to play. I was so focused on, oh, that's a bomb, garbage. Oh, that's a bomb, garbage. But this is a solid card, and I would rather draw this than a banner normally in top deck mode. So I've had people blow me out with Trigger Happy before. I've never used it. I don't think it looks like a very good card. There's an Argenport Stranger here. Because we didn't pick up the last Argenport banner, that is highly likely to be the pick here. I also like Roland's Choice a lot. But I think just for the color fixing and the fact that we need some early drops if we're not in red. We need some early drops if we're not in red. I'm going to take that Argenport Stranger. Cannon Bearer for the red. Pummel for the red. These other cards are all terrible. Swear Vengeance, I have had some good luck with in the past. People typically don't play around it. And you know what? I think at this point it's safe to say we're not going to be in red. So I don't think I'm going to take the Cannon Bearer or the Pummel. I'm going to take the Swear Vengeance because I think we're going to be in black. And I'm saying that entirely because of Rooftop Vigilante and Minotaur Lighthoof. Oof. What have I done? That's not how you play the game correctly. No, you know what? Fuck it. We're going to be in black. Cannon Bearer is so much better than Swear Vengeance. It's got the Gunslinger, it's got Warp, it's aggressively statted. We're taking Cannon Bearer. Okay, I talked myself out of it. Oof. Almost did something bad there, I think. Forge Wolf is a terrible card in my opinion. A 1 mana 1/1 that just pings the enemy for 1. It's basically just a 1 mana 1/1 at that point, and no one likes a 1 mana 1/1. Sanguine Sword, you see that black green and you're like, oh hey, we should play that. It's a 4 mana 2/2 relic weapon, and you have to you can sacrifice a unit to give 2+2/+2/+2. But I mean, very rarely would I rather have an extra 2 attack and 2 armor as opposed to a creature on the board. Yeah, Rabble Rouser's fine. 4 mana 2/2. Revenge is nice. Give something else +2/+2 this turn. I'll take it. It's one of those cards you cut early, but it's a card that you're fine playing. Strength of Many is a very nice combat trick. Clan Hero is the best card here, but again, we're not in blue at all. So we're going to take the Strength of Many, which is a fine trick. Rewarded with a second Minotaur Lighthoof. I like it. Red, once again, seems to be wide open with Rock Slide and Journeyman Armor, both fantastic cards. Stone Shaker and Ridgeline Watcher I don't think are very good. I would run Ridgeline Watcher as a 4-drop in a weapon heavy deck because of the Aegis. But Stone Shaker I don't think is a very good card at all. And I know that's a bit of a controversial opinion. I've seen a lot of people say that it's very good in draft. But it's a 3-mana 1/1 that just has no effect on the board when you play it. Seems terrible. I'm going to take that Minotaur Lighthoof. Umbran Thirster number 2. Now, as it stands right now, I have no way to gain life. So it's just a 5-mana 2/4, which is terrible. Burning Glaive is a 7-mana, give a creature +5/+3, which I think is way overcosted and not very good, which is why you see it this late. Rock Slide is a fantastic card, and it's the card I'll be picking here just to deny somebody else access to Rock Slide. I'm happy with the Valkyrie Militant, a 4-mana 2/2 flyer. I'm also happy usually running 1 copy at most of Bring Down because flying is really prevalent in draft since evasion is the 3rd letter in bread. Silencing a creature usually does not have a heavy impact on draft. But we'll take the Valkyrie Militant, 4-mana 2/2 flyer with Valkyrie synergy. We're just going to grab the Topaz Drake here. Hate draft that. Pack 3. Trail Stories is useless in draft and in constructed. Happy to see a Crown Watch Paladin. That's a fantastic 2-drop. Sad to see a Torch go by, but we're not in red. I keep telling myself. We probably should have been in red, but I keep telling myself we're not. I'm happy to take a Crown Watch Paladin. And an Emerald Monument. Very nice. Also a Granite Acolyte. Ooh, a Lethrai Ranger. So the Emerald Monument is nice because a sigil that sometimes becomes a gem blade in the late game, that's just a really lovely mechanic for top decking. Last thing you want to do late game while you're at a board stall is top deck a sigil. So this just lets you have the opportunity to instead top deck something that is useful. The Lethrai Ranger, you play it on turn 2. They don't have a 2-drop, then you swing in, it becomes a 4/4, which sometimes wins the game, but I've noticed that it wins the game more rarely nowadays because people seem to draft 2 and 3 drops more frequently. I think I like the Emerald Monument here. Let's look at our curve. Let's take the red out and look at our curve. Now here's our curve. We could really use some 2-drops. The Emerald Monument does enable the Rooftop Vigilantes, deadly. So if you're giving something +3/+3, it probably will kill anything it hits anyway. It's nice with the Minotaur Lighthoof because you can give something +3/+3 and then unblockable, and then it's a big swing to their face. But at this point, I think I really want something early I can just slam onto the board. Horse Snatcher Bat. Fantastic card. 6-mana 5/3 flyer, so it's got the evasion. It's also got quick draw, so it can just eat up other flyers that are blocking it. And the rest of the picks here really are not for us, so that's an easy one for us. I like Warhelm a lot in draft. I think it's underutilized. But here I think the pick is going to be the Rapid Shot. It's a trick that just blows people out of the water. You basically just trade your 2-power combat trick for usually something really large. +4 attack is no small beans. Scavenging Vulture is nice. Merciless Stranger is okay. Sometimes it can backfire and give your opponent's creatures deadly. It does target our Argenport Stranger, which is cool. But I think Rapid Shot is a fine collection. Another Lethrai Ranger. We're punished a little bit here. Stonescar Magus is another fine card, but I think just the aggressiveness of being able to get a 2-drop out every game is something to be desired. So we're going to be taking that. 3-mana 2/2 Warcry is not very good. 2-mana 1/1 Death Rattle, draw a card is better and constructed, actually. So I think we're going to take the Stone Scar Magus here. Giving an enemy unit -2/-2 is permanent, so they can't effectively bring it back from the graveyard, which is something to consider. And 2-mana 3/2's not bad stat line. We also have the option of the Scavenging Vulture. We have plenty of flyers in the deck. Rooftop Vigilante, Tandem Watchwings. We got 2 Minotaur Lighthoofs, which I count as evasion, Valkyrie Militant, Horse Snatcher Bat. We aren't starving for bad flyers. So I think I'm going to take happy with the Argenport Soldier here. And we could really use some 3-drops now and a few more late game cards. And these are not them. Direfang Spider is one of those cards you just cut really early, but it's a 1-mana 1/1 deadly. 1-mana 1/1s are usually poor choice, but deadly is the one exception because it's a good late game blocker. Yeah, Blood Beetle is a good card if you play it on turn 1 and it swings in, and then you have a 2/2 flyer. It's a bad card if you play it on turn 6, because then it's a 1-mana 1/2. Some good blue cards floating around now. None of these cards are going to be played by us. Reinforce is really bad, even in decks that are heavy on relic weapons. 2 mana, you gain 4 armor, it's just really bad. Here we're going to hate out the Levitate, which is actually a good card in draft. Just 1 mana, cycle a card and give something evasion, and it's instant that people don't often usually play around. You can eat up one of their flyers on the defense. Backlash is terrible. I've seen and played Eastwind Herald myself. I think it's fine, so we'll just hate that. And Oni Striker is terrible. So our last pack, we get a blue rare, which is unfortunate. Ground Crew is nice because we have quite a few Valkyries. And it's a 4-mana 2/4, which is just okay. Another Affliction, and a premium one at that, is a... Ooh, that's actually a really pretty premium. Most of them are just kind of flashy looking, but this one actually has some cool little effects. Entrapment is a big pick for us, because we are very light on removal in black-green. We've got the 1 Affliction. We didn't pick up any Extinguishes yet, so that's unfortunate for us. We're not really in Gunslingers for the Steady Marshal. So I think Entrapment's the big pick here. We really need some removal in this deck. I mean, the pick here is going to be a 2-mana 3/1, which is sad. Gets a 2-mana... If we play it, it gets a 2-drop out more efficient, or more consistently. Got a play set of Snow Peltings already. Nothing here is premium. Just nothing in our colors. Just bad luck there, I think. Emerald Spear again. Oof, bad card. Bad card. Yeah, we're going to take the Flashy Duelist. Valkyrie Arcanist is exactly the type of late game card we want to be seeing. The Duskcaller here as well, which... We're starving for 3-drops, but we'll get by with our 2-drops, I think, especially our 2 Lethrai Rangers, which are basically 3-drops on turn 3 if you played them on turn 2. Got just the 3-3-drops, which is unfortunate, but they're 3 very good 3-drops. Valkyrie Arcanist is just a card you don't pass up. There's a 3-drop named Watchwing. Copperhall Porter, Duskcaller, Affliction. These are all good cards for our deck. I think we were going to take the Duskcaller here. It gives us the Nightfall trigger, which is card draw in case we're screwed. Maimed Watchwing can't block, which is sometimes the death of you. Affliction is fine, but not good enough to want in a lot of multiples. We're going to take that 3-drop. There's an Amethyst Waystone here, which we will be taking for the Nightfall, but it's probably just going to be a black sigil for us. And some dust for me. I don't like Headsman's Axe at all. Triggerman. Let's count our gunslingers here. Wait a second. No. For gunslingers, we've got 1, 2, 3. 3 gunslingers is not enough for a good Triggerman. And a 5-mana 3/3 quick draw is not very good. We don't really have any weapons for its effect. except for the Arcanist has the Gem Blade. That's too bad. The problem with Headsman's Axe is it's just, if you have a lot of units in your Void, you're probably losing the game. Like, why are so many of your creatures dead? What's going on with that? We're going to take the Trigger Man, and maybe we'll pick up some more Gunslingers, but we probably just won't play it. Another Ironclad Oath is nice. Nothing else here is playable in our deck. I spoke a little about Improvised Rubbler and how I really don't like it in the last draft. Here we're gonna just gonna take it for the dust. Look at these red cards. There are some good red cards there. Oof. Cover of Darkness wins games sometimes. You just play it and 2 of your creatures are unblockable and there's nothing your opponent can do. Plus the Nightfall is an extra bonus damage, so happy to take that. I usually only run one copy if I'm given the option. So Hellfire Oni, holy cow. Take another 3-drop. Now I'm going to sideboard that Duskwalker. Too bad we're not in white. And another Amethyst Waystone. Let's take a look at what we got here. So we've got 31 cards. We're going to drop a few. We're going to drop the Thirster because we have no life gain in the deck. Takes us to 30 cards. Need to drop 2 more. It's going to be a 3-mana 2/3 flying in most games, I think. So I think we're going to drop the Trigger Man, because again, we just don't have the support for it. And then the other card we're going to drop is the Final Shot Rider, because it's never going to get deadly. We just don't have the Gunslingers for that. Add some power to the deck. And let's see how we do. Not my favorite draft. I think there was a really good red deck floating around, but we just couldn't make up our minds. So let's see how the game